Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Teacher's Table live stream. Hopefully we have a great crew coming tonight, talking all things education. It's a great space for teachers to come around this table and share out ideas, connect with each other. So really want to suggest you guys use the chat box off to the side, so please do that. I think I just did the wrong side there. I think this is the side. You get my idea. You're smart enough to figure out which ways to use. So if you could, as always, drop your name into the box. Don't be shy. Say who's here and join the conversation. Share your ideas, share your thoughts. We'd love it. If you haven't done so already, or you're catching this after the stream, you can definitely read all the comments off to the side, and you could post a comment down below if you'd like. Hit the like button, and as always, we're already up to 7. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can get our confetti party as the night goes on. Let's see who we have already here. We have Carrie with us. Good to see you back at the table, Carrie. Thomas from Germany. I had the distinct pleasure to talk with Thomas yesterday. Yeah, today's Monday. Yes, yesterday we did a podcast together. It's coming out tomorrow morning. Fantastic. Definitely something I'm thinking about adding to my game. So Thomas, thank you for being part of that, and he's actually going to do a follow-up one next week, so looking forward to that. Let's see who else we have. We have Addie Witt here. Fabulous to see you, Addie. Thanks for dropping by. Amanda, what's up? You made something the other day I saw on Facebook that looked delicious. So I don't remember what it was, but thanks for sharing. Natalia from Mexico, good to have you joining us as well. Let's see what else we have. Carrie says, remember when the sun was just setting at 9 p.m.? I miss those days. I agree. It is like pitch dark here in Wisconsin. I mean, pitch dark. Starts doing that real early. Mrs. Thompson, awesome, from New Zealand. I believe this is your first, or it's been a while. I apologize if I forgot. Thank you for joining in on the Teacher's Table. Lots of things to discuss today. Love it. Jennifer Knox made it back. Everybody, make sure you give Miss Thompson a warm welcome for us all. Amanda's going to check out what that recipe was. All right, so today's Teacher's Table, I was figuring that we could talk a little bit about what we're all doing kind of as educators, both for the students as well as for ourselves a little bit here, going into the holiday season here. And, our school has, I don't know how many days left, but I think I only have like four or five lessons left because we teach block schedule, so I only have the kids, one day and then have the other half the next day. So I want to say there's 4 lessons or 3.5 lessons, if I was to be super accurate. 3.5 lessons left, and trying to think through what that is. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's 4.5. I don't know. But trying to think through, like, what are we doing? Because on one hand, I think there are things that you have to do. So I'm sure a lot of us are probably going to do some sort of assessment before the kids leave so that we can kind of lock in that sort of knowledge, which I find sort of funny. I gotta admit, I don't know if you guys ever thought of this. Like, I definitely always sort of try to test before they go on a break, right? Because I want them to sort of be at their peak performance, so to speak. But it's kind of funny because we talk as educators all the time about having students reach mastery. So theoretically, even if they were gone for 2 weeks because of holiday break or a week and a half or whatever it was, if they've reached mastery, it shouldn't matter that there was a break. And so the fact that I think we all try to sort of finish things off before we go on big breaks maybe hints at the fact that we're not achieving or shooting for mastery. I don't know, just something to think about. I'm curious what you guys think on the side comments. That's just a side note that I thought about. Amanda Gray says, oh, cranberry relish, cranberries, apples, some yummy sugar. It was yummy. That's fantastic. Hit the like button, everyone. Love it. Carrie says 9 days left. 4 of those are for finals. So kind of like I was saying too. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on that. Let's see. 2 weeks to go for Natalia. Let's see. Amanda says, you guys went back to in-person, right? How's that going? Thanks for asking. We are back in person. I will share. That's going all right. I mean, I always love being with the kids. That is so much more fun for me. What's not fun for me, I think some of you who follow me on Facebook sort of know this, that my ex-wife and I decided to keep everybody safe, to keep my daughter safe, to keep my ex-wife safe, to keep the grandparents safe, everybody safe. I don't get to see my daughter until after Christmas because we get out of school like so close to Christmas that like if I have COVID, I won't have signs yet. So we have to kind of wait till after Christmas for me to get tested. That's a struggle. Like I absolutely love hanging out with my daughter. Light of my life, of course, like every parent. So that's pretty tough. But the actual like being with students is great. I love being with the students. We're hybrid though, so I still have some digital students, which I always like too. I wish they could all be together, like right, like everybody. Jennifer Knox says, I'd like to cancel the midterms. I think that was in response to my question. I'm curious what else. There is an interesting difference between achieving mastery and maintaining it. Perhaps we assess before a break because we know that they'll lose a bit of mastery when they don't use it. I mean, I think that's the practical side of it. Like, and I, just like all of you, I think I assess before a break, but it's one of those things like, if we're saying they're going to lose it necessarily in like a few weeks, then, have we really taught it, I think the fact of the matter is it's up there, right? Plato, the philosopher, talked about Socrates had this idea of knowledge as recalling information. So I think the fact that we've taught it, they might not be able to like necessarily get it right away, but if you were to like give a light refresher, or if they were in the business world and they sat down and said like, oh, I got to do that again, they should be able to recall it a lot faster because they've learned it. So I think that level of mastery is being achieved for sure. The fact that it's up there and can be more easily recalled, maybe with a little light nudging, of course. Let's see here. 2 weeks for us. 2 grades are due Friday with a full week after, so not sure what we're going to work on. So I guess that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. So I'm going to finish this week. I have a test, and I don't know if I told you guys the story about changing the test names, but in my class, the sound of the word test or assessment seemed a little crazy, so some students and I started to call them vegetables, and we've named them different vegetables. So it started with the potato of knowledge. Oh yeah, Jennifer Knox knows. So do you guys want to know this new one, the one we're doing this week? We have, and then just to add extra ridiculousness, I've decided to sort of offer like a challenge test that kids can take, or a regular test kids can take. And so now every assessment there is 2. So like the last one was Carrot of Wisdom was the regular test, and Radish of Rhetoric was the challenged sort of assessment. And now this one, which I can't tell you what it's about because Addie Witt was here at least for a brief moment. She may still be here, so I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you the name of it. And we have Jicama of Hope. That is the regular test. And then we have Bok Choy of Bravery is the challenge test. And I can't wait to do both of them with the students. I think it's a little bit of fun and just something that I don't know. It's those moments, I think, with kids, which is what I'm excited about moving forward. We got a lot of potatoes here. Potato of knowledge. I fancy myself a farmer of the potato of knowledge. Kyle's here. Good to see you, Kyle. So glad you could make it. Let's see. Miss Thompson, given I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, we're all done for the year. Bring on summer break. Oh, man, that is so awesome. Well, I mean, I'm super glad that you were able to make it to the teacher's table. Hopefully you connect some more on the teacher's table. Miss Thompson, I would love it. Someday I would like to go to New Zealand. Oh, that would be lovely. Right now I would love it if I just could maybe go down the road. But let's see. Today I started a new unit of inquiry, so we will work in the unit for 2 weeks, and January I will continue 3 more weeks. Then I have exams. Addie Witt is still here, and Addie Witt did help come up with some of the names. She has kept a Google Doc of all sorts of vegetables. We have so many other ones. Celery of clarity, I think, is definitely one. Some people want to go into the fruits. Strawberry of success. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot there. If students visit your online chat, they should get hints for the tests. I wonder what Addie Witt thinks of that one. Does she want a hint for the test? That's a good call. That's a good call. That kind of dedication, right? Kyle says, exhausted but awake. Kyle, I hope you're going to be able to make a game maybe later this week. I'm super excited about it. We're going to do one of the new games. Let's see. Amanda says, since we can't do a concert, I'm doing a rhythm only performance video. My students use glow sticks. They are pumped. That is such a creative idea. I love that when we're pressed up against the wall with like some restrictions, that we sometimes figure out a way sort of around those restrictions, or just kind of something new and different because of it. I think that shows that creative spirit, that you're not sort of locked into what was and just lamenting what you wish we could have. Again, you're actively like thinking of forging a new path. A couple teachers and I were talking today about things that we're doing now that we're going to continue to do after this. And I think that's huge for sure. Addie Witt says, yes, would love to have some heads up information. We have another student here. Emma, good to see you here. Love seeing you. That's so fantastic. I dig it. Jennifer Ledford's here. I will take you late, but here, that's fine. Jennifer Ledford, awesome. So Jennifer, we're talking today a little bit about what we're doing before break, making sure we're taking care of ourselves before break, making sure we're taking care of the students. So I think I shared with you guys, I'm doing those challenge vegetables, which Jennifer is my word for sort of assessment or test, because it's a lot less scary. So we're doing that jicama of hope and bok choy of bravery assessments before break, but we're doing them this week. So that means I have all next week with the students. And we're going to start our grease unit, but we're not going to get into a lot of the heavy stuff. We're going to get into some sort of fun stuff, break them into some teams. During my grease unit, we do kind of the Greek Olympics, and we get them in some of the ancient teams. So I love it. That's fantastic. Vegetables aren't scary. I super agree. Especially, you guys, I'll tweet it out. I made a little graphic for him, and the jicama, I put a monocle on him. I mean, he just looks super cute. Hello, Leslie. So awesome to have you here. ELA teacher from Georgia. I just keep hearing about Georgia. That's all I hear about, Leslie. You guys are in the news all the time with the politics. A friend and I were wondering, I wonder what it's like to live in Georgia. Are you just getting like constant robo phone calls and that stuff? I know that's nothing to do with teaching. It's just you're the first person I've talked to from Georgia personally. So I'm curious if you're getting inundated with all sorts of political messages due to the special election sort of that's happening in your state. It's a resounding yes. That's what we thought. Well, super glad to have you here at the teacher's table. We're discussing what are we doing before break that can get, that can be nice for kids so that they're sent off and feeling good and feeling confident, that we don't spend all of our last moments just assessing them. I think that's important. So I structured it so that I'm giving my test this week so that next week can be a little more fun. We're gonna get them into some teams for the unit they're gonna have when we come back, and I think it's just gonna be a good time. But you kind of want to live. I don't know. I want my class to be a space that kids feel comfortable in, excited in, but at the same time challenged in. And as we just came off like doing an assessment, I think it'll be fun to sort of have a bit of activity. Get them into those teams, like I said, for the Olympics. That would be fantastic. So I'm curious, what are you guys doing before break? I mean, a lot of you guys hadn't really answered that. You got a concert. I guess midterms, Carrie said. Well, Carrie, are you doing something else to sort of spice that up so that it's a little like that you're still making sure you're maintaining and building those relationships with students? All right, Kyle says, I'm just returning this week on Wednesday. Playing a little catch up, seeing how they're all doing and what they actually learned since my remote teaching, and hopefully playing a game or two. That would be fabulous. I love playing games with my students. I don't know if Addie's going to back me up on this, or Emma, but I love playing games with my students. And so I have like all sorts of games in my closet. I mean, card games, board games, like physical games that you got to like flick these discs, right? But like, I'm sure you see this coming. Like all kids, they just sort of come in and just all want to sort of go on their iPad and sort of scream at each other across the room instead of like, I don't know, being in front of the same game. So, I don't know. I was thinking the other day of inviting some other kids in from maybe another advising to play a game or two, because maybe they would think it's like kind of cool because they're kind of coming over to a different advisor's room. I think that might be fun. Build some relationships with some students that aren't in. So that'd be nice. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what Addie says. All right, let's see. Leslie says, I'm finishing up an informational unit so that we have started a magazine project to review some text structures and features while focusing on student interest. That's awesome. I love that you kind of like have this real world project. My kids, I try to have them do these little like tasks. I always sort of stress that content and the creativity have to sort of be fused together. I want things to look good. I want them to look sharp. Addie's very good at upping the game of the look of the project while still maintaining high caliber of content. That, I think, is a skill that's like a lifelong skill and one that's going to serve her like throughout. But I don't want to say that I can take like full credit for that. I can just say that I continue to sort of demand that of you, Addie, and I've been really impressed with the results. So keep that up. Let's see here. Jennifer says, we have midterms coming up, so I am reviewing and preparing with as many games and fun activities as possible. We did a boss battle today, and it was super epic. Addie's class defeated the boss. 2 other classes didn't make it to defeating the boss. Addie's class literally came down to the last like 90 seconds. One kid answers a question. They roll a die, like the bad guy's down to like 4 or 3 or something like that, and these guys roll like a 2. They have to get like one more. And like time's ticking. I'm sort of slowly like asking the question. They're all like, just ask it, roll the die. And they defeated them. Super fun. I love my boss battle structure this year. It's sort of a 3-act structure. The first act, they take this quiz and they have to get a 90%. And we just keep retaking the quiz until we get above a 90%. But the longer they're stuck in sort of phase 1 or level 1, it's less time they get at level 3, and level 3 is kind of the big coup de grace. Level 2, though, going with Jennifer Knox about like reviewing content, doing a little bit of games and a little bit of difference. So here we have a 3-piece structure. The first one goes over a ton of content because it's like a quiz, right? So a lot of like vocab terms, that kind of thing you can get out of the way. Auto grading, you can see what their percentage. They have to retake the exact same thing until they get that percentage again, or until they get to that 90. Then level 2 gets a fusion of that creativity with content, right? So The kids today had to make, like they had to have a full image so it looks awesome, a full image of China, pick one that goes with what they did. And then I challenged them, they had to write a haiku. They're doing this in Google Slides in groups. So they are all on the same Google slide, like 4 students, 3 students on the same Google slide. They have about 3 minutes to do it. And then they have to spin their laptop around so it faces me with their hands up in the air, kind of like Master Chef style. Like the plate's got to be there. They can't be touching it when the bell rings. So when my 3-minute timer goes off and ding, like they better already have it turned around. And it's so fun to hear kids screaming like, there's only 5 seconds, like turn around, turn around, turn around. And they turn around, and then I just kind of like quickly assess. Same idea is if I think it's at that 90% level or not, they then get, they defeat them. If I feel like the class average here is like high quality work. If not, I make them do another one. My second one was awesome. So Addie's group, I think, went on right after that. They did a fantastic job. Slide 1, loved it. Another class, slide 1, like some of them were good, some of them weren't. So we had to redo the round. The next round, I had them take a Google slide. They had to, same thing, have a sweet picture that went with the content they were going with. And then this time they had to write a jingle. And then somebody had to perform it, gave them 4 minutes. And oh my gosh, I filmed all of their jingles. It was hilarious. No one's expecting great work, great sounds. They all like paired it to a song they knew, like a Christmas song or like a Camptown Ladies song or whatever. Something they all knew. It was hilarious, super awesome, awkward, but still funny. We're all laughing. Then you move on to the boss. That boss was kind of fun. What it was they, as a house, had 25 hit points. So when this I'm just doing manually. I'm just asking questions out of the textbook or whatever I can come up with in my head. If the kid gets it right, we roll a die and we hit the boss for that many points. So when I was telling you guys they were down to like 4 or 3 or 2 or whatever, they're trying to get this boss down to 0. This boss started at 55 points, or no, 65 points, I think. They had 25 health points, and so when they get one wrong, the boss attacks them, and each of my bosses have different things. So this boss had 2 special powers. One, they had a shield, and it was anytime you guys get one right and you roll to hurt them, if you roll the number 3, it doesn't hurt them. So 3 just doesn't hurt them. That was kind of a cool special feature. 3 kept coming up, and it was like hilarious. And then sometimes like a 1 would come up and everybody was like, oh, we only did 1 damage. And then one of my kids were like, it's better than 3, which is awesome. And then the other one was this kind of feature where like the bad guy rolled 2 dice because they're on horseback or whatever. They were pretending to be the Mongols. So they rolled 2 dice. And you add them together, and if they rolled a 5 or 6, you'd roll another die and add it to it. So it was this crazy like hope for not having 6s. It was a blast. That's how I do boss battles now. It's just that 3-step process. First one kind of boring, sort of just like quiz question content, then kind of a creative fusion of that content working in groups, and then again kind of going back to some sort of questions, but I'm monitoring those questions so they can be a little more dynamic, a little more responsive, and then we have that die roll piece, which is just fun. Let's see, what do we have? Addie Witt saying, yes, we do scream a lot. You guys do. I have a Jeopardy tournament planned between hours. If we don't end up going distance, maybe we'll do it even if we do. That's fantastic. I love that. I love the boss battle structure, Michael. That has been fun. I think I should probably do, what do you think, Jennifer? Should I do a YouTube video that kind of explains that? I don't know. We'll see. Jennifer Knox says, I have students answer all kind of review questions for points, but at the end of each group has to throw the foam hatchet onto the board for tons of points, so the quizzes become obsolete. That's awesome. I definitely have little things that they kind of throw and play with. I had some former students who take French. I don't know anything about French, right? But they were walking by my room, they're headed their way, and I happen to have a prep period. And I'm like, where are you off to? And they're like, we're going to French. You should come. And I was like, I don't I don't know French at all, guys. They're like, you should come. So I came, and I was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, well, we're going to practice some things. And I said, like, well, can I practice with you? And she was like, sure. And so it turned into a game of charades where like the kids had to guess the right conjugation, and I had to be the person to act out. And it's with the other person that's up there trying to charades out the French word for the kids. Super fun. They have now asked that every A-day prep period I go to their French room. Their French teacher has cleared me for doing so, and we have done some fun charades and some other little games. It has been a blast. But that's what I'm talking about forming really strong relationships with your students. That's just a game changer. I think that's super cool that kids kind of want to still interact with you. That's awesome. Carrie likes the 3-level structure. Jennifer says that's super fun. It is. Jennifer, any ideas for virtual implementation of that, Mr. Matera? I am full virtual until at least March. Wow, I somewhat am envious that they gave you like that long of a time. So they just, to plan that. There is lots of things you can do, Jennifer, in terms of virtual, like all virtual activities. I've definitely done that with my students. The one that I just told about, you could do that entirely virtual, 100% virtual for sure. Because the quizzes, they're all logging into the same quizzes app, which is a free app. And again, I'm not looking at their individual scores. Quizzes across the top just tells you their percentage. So I'm just looking for that to hit 90%. And I typically don't make them take the whole quiz because there comes a point where they're not going to get to 90. And I just shut it off and tell them study for 3 minutes or whatever, and we'll try again. So that level works. Level 2 was all Google Slides that I shared with each group. So this group of students working on this slide, and you would just have them sort of present in your Zoom. As far as hands up by the time's up, you can literally just have them do that in frame and say if anybody's not doing that, then that group's disqualified, which means we're not going to pass because, remember, I'm looking for like a 90% average of creativity work, but if one whole group gets disqualified, they don't have the points, right? So you could do that. And then the third level, I use like a digital die. So kids tell me, I ask, do you want roll 1 or roll 2 to count? And I just hit the digital die and they watch it spin and lands. And so you could do that where you ask questions and you're not going to points off the boss for sure virtually. So that entire thing works either way, which was something that I thought of early on in the year, is I got to design systems and activities that work because our school is planning on being in person as much as possible, but at a moment's notice might switch to virtual. So that was important. Leah, another former student here, dropping by on the live stream. That's awesome. I love it. Good seeing you as well. Do you say that you have 90-minute blocks? I wish. I am such a proponent of actually long periods for some classes. And I think a history class, a long class, is fantastic. When you get into those simulations or those great discussions, we are 65-minute classes, but still only every other day. To me, makes no sense. That's just me personally, because we used to be 45 minutes every day. Then we said we wanted to switch to larger block classes, but there were some teachers that didn't feel comfortable. So then we picked, like, instead of 90-minute classes, we picked 70 minutes, which was this awkward in between. It's not quite 45 minutes daily. It's not 90 minutes, which is what a true block is. So we actually kind of lost minutes, right? Because we were 45 daily, which adds up to 90 every 2 days. Then we went to 70, and then a bunch of teachers complained, and after like 3-4 years, they're like, we're going to redo the schedule and make it better, and we're still every other day, but went down to 65. It's crazy. It's above my pay grade. So I try not to worry about it, and I just try to make the best of it, but I do not have 90-minute blocks, that's for sure. This is Thompson. That would be great to have a fuller explanation. I'll be happy to do a YouTube about that. I actually just cleaned up my YouTube channel, so it's a little easier to see some of my videos. I put things in playlists. I hid them in the main section so you don't necessarily get all these live streams taking up all the space in my channel. So I will get on that. Jennifer, I'll get on that too, and I'll make sure that there's the digital example as well. Jennifer also says that. That's fantastic. I loved going to the class. It was so awesome. Emma, you should go to sleep. Definitely. Yeah, Leah, you can stop by anytime and say hi. Ms. Thompson, we had 90 minutes for the past couple of years, which was fabulous, particularly in science. Next year, going to 60. Look at the tier. I'm with you. Classes, I think 45 daily work great for. Language classes and math classes, right? Things that you're sort of building that skill that just needs to continually to be looked at daily. And like a foreign language, definitely like daily practice. But classes that are building experiences for their kids, like a lab or like literature circles or those kind of things, or simulations or activities. Oh my gosh, like 65 is just tiny. And like at that point, I guess I'd rather have 45 daily, because then I at least could see them 90 minutes, right? 65 every other is, oof. See, look at this. 90-minute blocks of history would be amazing. Thank you, Addie. I agree. That would be so fun. See, look at some students saying 90 would be great. I wish I had a longer class of history last year. See, so that would be fantastic. Well, I do know that we're past our time here. It's 9:32 here in Central Standard Time Zone. Love that we had some people from Georgia. We had some people from Germany. We had some people from Mexico. Some people from New Zealand. Some people from my school. Some people from Indiana, like Nebraska, like Texas. What a table here at Teacher's Table. I am truly honored and flattered to be part of all of it with all of you. I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely week. I have a video coming out hopefully in a day or two about some Christmas or holiday gifts you could sort of pick up that are great games for your house or your loved ones. So be on the lookout for that. I'm editing it today. But I got to shoot some B-roll tomorrow and put that into the edit, or else it's just me talking the whole time. No one wants to hear just that, but I guess you just did. So everyone, thanks so much. I really appreciate being here. My students, I will see you guys tomorrow. Miss Thompson, I hope you come back. You always have a space at the Teacher's Table. If you're on Facebook, Miss Thompson, check out Teacher's Table Facebook group. That is an awesome space where people are posting lessons and ideas, and it's just a great group. Leslie, same thing. I hope you join the Teacher's Table on Facebook. Great space for you to be in, and I hope you come back and see you. That would be awesome. Everybody else, take care and have a good week.